surprisingly, I've spoken more Igbo in Germany than I've spoken anywhere else. So
I feel
because
that.
of that somehow I've been able to navigate up onto this. I know a lot of people are lucky in that sense as well. But then it makes no sense because even right now I know that there's a ceiling I cannot break. I feel much more relaxed and in my skin when I'm with other Black women, probably even more specifically when I'm with other Nigerians. I feel much more within my skin because I can crack jokes that I don't need to explain.
Hi everyone, Shati Lines. Hi Shati Lines. I nearly forgot you guys are my Shati Lines. Hi Shati Lines. Welcome and welcome back to the Phoebe Way. Hope you're doing well. Today we are continuing with episode 3 of the Diary of a Black Woman in Germany. And we started with talking with myself first. I was the first guest and host. Second, we had Kelechi. So you've not watched our conversation with Kelechi on navigating through life in Germany, the challenges that you face as a Black woman in Germany, especially one who comes to Germany all by yourself, and the triumphs that she has also collected on the way. Please watch that video now. And today we are going to go in deeper on a different topic that is cultural identity. And I am so elated to present to you my guest, Ogena. Ogena, you are welcome to the TV Way. And I think I was
Thank you.
a guest on Ogena's channel before last year, right? And now see,
Yes.
I've learned from her, and now we are here.
You're almost a regular.
So, Ogena,
Yeah, and it's always exciting to speak with you. You're such an exciting person to talk to. So
Thank
it's
you.
really cool. Thank you.
Thank you. So, can you please share information, like introduce yourself? Tell us about your background and how you came to Germany.
So, hello everyone. My name is Ogena, and I'm a designer. When I say designer, it seems very broad because I do so many things in terms of design. I'm an architect, I'm an interior designer, I'm a lighting designer, plenty things.
Are we counting?
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Exactly. Where the money is where we go.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah. But for me, design is something that I really love, especially design when it comes to spaces, structures. So I'm always finding a way to improve what I do within those spaces. So yes, that's what I do professionally. And how I came to Germany. I came to Germany to study for my master's in architectural lighting. Although my friends would say that I came to Germany for man, but
I like this.
Yes, I followed man to the abroad. I guess that's the real truth. The study was just a cover. Yeah, I came because of man. I was on my own peacefully one day, and this man said, "Let's go abroad." And I said, "Where are we going to?" He said, "We are going to Germany."
Okay. So you were actually married before coming to Germany?
No. We were engaged at the time. Oh, actually, we're not engaged. We were dating at the time. And then he was saying,
they never give you ring to follow man come abroad to somebody's land.
Somebody's land, though. Yeah, we were dating at the time when he started talking about going to study abroad. Initially, he was thinking of going to Canada or the UK, but then finally decided that okay, he was going to choose Germany, since his parents had been in Germany for so many years, so they were already very familiar with the place, and it seemed like the rational place to go to. That is where the having to convince me that this is a good decision to make was now the next thing, So he brought the idea about like no, because for me living moving abroad had never been something I planned or thought about, or because to me I was comfortable where I was. I had a good job. My job provided me with a very decent lifestyle. I was given a house, a car, so I didn't have any real need to leave the country, to be honest.
Okay.
So when he brought up the idea of leaving the country, I was like, no, we're not doing we're not doing this. To be fair, we've already started talking marriage at the time, so it's not like we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, so it was already something serious. So it was now a scene of, okay, do we go or do we not go? My at the time, he then said, okay, let's get married and then I leave and then you come join me or something. I'm like, no, it's not me and you that will be doing that. We're not doing it. No.
No distance marriage.
I was like, no. So I refused. I'm not doing it. I was like, go first when you go, and if you think it's this whole thing that we're doing is still making sense for you, then of course we can then think about it. Then I was like, okay, can we at least be engaged first? Let's not be enough. I was like, okay.
Okay,
let's do that.
He was scared.
I was stressing the guy, to be honest. So we got engaged and then he left, and 1 year and a couple of months later I came to study for masters. Because now, since we're engaged, you cannot do a reunion with an engagement, so having a masters was the next best thing. And for me, I felt if I was going to relocate, I'm not going to relocate just to come and sit down in your house. I'm going to be relocating because I want to also be doing something else, because I know me, small thing, I've lost my mind because I'm not doing something, either within the career path that I want to do or for whatever reason. So I was very particular about how we do that moving, that transition from Nigeria here to Germany. So that's how I came to Germany. came to study with man.
Yeah, but you said something that is very important. Moving to Germany, you don't just move without a plan. You move either to study, and even with the study, it should be step 1, and there should be a step 1A, 1B, and then 2.
Exactly.
And I said, when I first started creating content, I always say that come to Germany with a purpose. Are you coming to study? Are you coming to work? And make sure that the work that you're coming to do is already mapped out. It's secure before you come. Or you have a plan to secure the dream job that you'd want to do in Germany. But yeah, that is very, very good. Now, you are from a different culture. It's obvious, okay? We see it. Can you share your personal stories about how you noticed the differences in culture, your experiences, your story about this is when I knew this is Germany and not Nigeria?
In fact, this happened to me the very first week I was in Germany. First week, I think we were 2 or 3 days into arriving. So when I got here, I went to Koblenz. My husband at the time was staying in Koblenz, but my school was in Wismar. So I first went to Koblenz, of course, to first settle in. And then a couple of days later, I went to Wismar. So now this is the first time I'm being by myself in this place. And then I went shopping, and I was coming back. I saw this old woman. I've told this story 1 million times by now. I've told this story everywhere. So I saw this elderly woman, carrying all her shopping stuff, and the Nigerian home training in me just came outside. I went to meet her to, carry the stuff from her because I could see she was heading towards a car. So in my mind, I'm like, this is her car, of course. So I just carried the stuff and took it to the car. She looked at me like, what? Who is this person? She probably had to steal something.
Are you a mini thief? Wow.
She was so dumbfounded, what's happening?
Wow.
So I just carried it and I put it in the car because the boot of the car was already open. So I put it in the car. Now, later when I thought about it, I'm like, what if it was not even her car, I could have carried it in somebody else's car. But anyway, from her trajectory in terms of her movement, it was clear that this was the car she was going to, So I just carried it, put it in and then she kept looking at me. So and then I waved to her and I left. Of course, by this time I don't understand any word in German. So whatever she was saying, I did not even hear.
You just
I
did
was
your
just waiting
golden
for her.
deed for the day. Like,
My good deed for the day was full.
Oh, everybody give her an
Oh, oh my God.
Now somebody watching this will be like, this CB girl is not nice at all. She don't get home training. I really have home training, but I also have a German home training, as in I mind my business. Before that old man left her house, she knew what she could manage. If she didn't have the strength to carry her stuff, she would have called Social Station, or she would have called Carrot. I don't know, but she would have, somebody else would have been doing her groceries for her. That is the thinking I would have had. But of course, if I see that she's obviously struggling, then my Ghanaian home training would kick in. But yeah, I feel you.
You know, but now I would think about this now. But then it was, I couldn't understand why she should be doing this. But in fact, it's not something I even thought about, you know, because for us, it's not something you think about. The person, you just see the person carrying, so you just help the person. You don't need to question why they went themselves or whatever, you know. And I got home and I called my husband, who at the time was my fiancé, and he was like, "Who sent you?" Who? He said, "Don't go and do the one that will call police for you."
Wow.
I was like,
have you also had
business? No.
Have you also had such cultural differences in the workspace?
Yeah, it's I think this whole cultural differences thing has been in every aspect of life. You know, even when you in interacting with people, your neighbors, you are hardly able to, you know who your neighbor is or have a good relationship with them. It's not a thing like your Maggie finish, you can walk to your neighbor's place and pick up something. You can't.
You can actually do that.
You can. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
so when
my
I was
God.
Up, we were really cool with our neighbors, and she was also a mom. Like obviously, she and my mom, they would like trade eggs, salt. So she'd be like, "Oh,
yeah, but you have to be cool first before you can do that."
Yes.
But in most cases,
but I think something that is a staple in the house, like salt. I believe my neighbor now can ask me for salt. I wouldn't mind. I would also go over and ask them for salt. Although I've been here for just maybe 3-4 months in this new building.
Okay.
But for salt, I would ask for salt, but maybe not eggs, because it's not something that is open. I don't know in my mind. But yes, we used to trade like groceries, and then when we go and then we buy our stuff, we can return. But obviously, we wouldn't return the salt. But eggs, I mean, if you get like a 4-pack eggs, you give them the 4 back.
It's good to know this. So at least now I know this, and probably I'll try it, and hopefully I don't get kicked out.
No.
But
anyway, it's very turn off. You even explain the situation. I'm coughing. Ich habe gemerkt, ich habe kein Salz, ich habe kein Ei, ich habe keine Nudeln. Okay, well, don't ask for noodles, because obviously that means you don't have food at home. But yeah.
But in any case, you get the gist of it, that because people are not very communal in the living style, so sometimes certain things feels like it's not something that is doable. And even in the workspace, what shocked me the most, my first office, I got to work, and then I hadn't seen my boss at the time. We had done interviews and all of that was just over the phone, virtually, but we hadn't seen physically, so I had not met him. And I was in the office and somebody just told me, "Oh, Philip is in the office, you'll see him very soon." I was like, "Philip, how dare you call your boss by his name with your mouth?" So that hierarchy thing is not something that is prevalent in Nigeria, or at least even in companies where you have people in a much more progressive kind of style. People still have this mental hierarchy that we still have when we are dealing with people in the workplace, even people that are older than you. You know, a lot of all these small nuance here and there. So for me, these were really strange things that I found. But well, you know, they say when you're in Rome, you behave like the Romans. So over time, I'm beginning to, learn and catch up on these things. And even the difference in nightlife. I'm not really a night person, but then I find that Germans are quick to go and rest. Maybe it's just my circle as well.
Because my own at home no quick to rest too. I have to check his temperature and check his DNA. Now I want to go outside.
Are you sure it's German?
I'm telling telling you. Oh, well, maybe you're in a different part of Germany. Because the Swabians, they love their money and they love their fresh air. So we go, if I want to gift something, I'd be like, I'm going to give you a Sunday of hiking. A Sunday
but yeah, that's a different thing from, say, like partying or, you know, being out late. Having fresh air, I think, is a German thing. Germans like to walk around, take fresh air, do hiking.
You know, Germans are very efficient. So in my experience, like the people that I grew up with, I went to high school with and everything, they were partying. That they did as teenies and, you know, students, probably till maybe mid-20s. But once they have to work and be efficient, I doubt it. Because it takes you a long time to recover from all that alcohol and poisoning of the body.
Yeah.
So regrouping and everything, or recouping from that takes time. And I think that makes Germans not want to do that much. But when they travel and they're on holidays, they will.
Then for us, you see that it's slightly different. We can party today and go to work tomorrow. Nothing's happening. You know, so maybe not the party in itself, but the joy of being with people, you know, always connecting with people. I don't think that as Nigerians, probably as Africans as in general, maybe those from the eastern part of Africa might not really be this way, because they are a little bit much more reserved than we are in the West.
No. You might be the giants of Africa. We have the eagles. That's our Kenyan sisters and brothers. If they want to party
in the East,
in this Germany, I give them I give them the crown, the party crown, really.
Anyway, they cannot. I don't believe that the eastern part of Africa can compete in terms of vibrancy and outgoingness and all of that. When it comes to compete with western part of Africa, the western part of Africa is much more. We are much more.
It's because
out there.
We are in our side. We know what we know, like. But
Tell me, let me learn.
Because I grew up with the African store, and we met different types of Africans. I met different countries. Probably the most quiet African country is not even Ghana.
But Ghana is in the West, though.
Yes, so, they are not loud, but it's still not the Nigerians. To me, I think very present in Germany when it comes to sucking out the life in Germany, like whatever Germany has to offer, they are going to take it. I see that more as Kenyans, like they are partying, and that's also another thing you see as they are also the ones to integrate easier. Like you see them married to Germans because they are doing everything that Germany has to offer. But for the vibrancy, my dear, they got it. They don't mind coming to a Nigerian party and not knowing the song. They just know one song, and that's enough.
And that's it.
That's it.
Okay. I guess probably my own perspective of this is slightly different, which is okay.
Yes, definitely.
I find that most people that I've met, let's say from Uganda, I find that they are a lot more reserved as compared to we from the West. We are much more noisy and outgoing and bold and you know things like that. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's agree to disagree.
The thing is, I know one Ugandan guy when I'm in my time in Berlin, and he was everywhere, dear. Like we will go jogging in the morning. I saw on Instagram this guy went jogging. In the evening, I'll meet him at the Straßenfest, and then he does the after party. And the next day he's back with some marathon. I'm like, what kind of energy is he on? Yes, that's why I'm like, when it comes to Eastern side, but I feel you though. I feel you though. I know what you mean. Like when it comes to vibrant parties, Nigerians will be there. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super loud. So anyway, for me, these have been these different small nuances have been the things that I've found to be very different from what we. So I would say in general, where the lifestyle has been the difference in terms of culture between back home that I'm used to and here in Germany.
Okay. So Now, how do you define your cultural identity? Like, it's something that I struggled with for a while, so I want to hear from you. What is your cultural identity as a woman, as a Black woman in Germany, or as a Nigerian woman in Germany? Do you see yourself as a Nigerian woman in Germany? What is your cultural identity? Or you see yourself as an Igbo woman in Germany? What is it?
As I see myself as a Nigerian woman in Germany. Mm-hmm. See my name now, Niger girl.
Green, white, green.
You know. Yeah, because I feel although we are really big and we are very diverse as a country in Nigeria, but I always feel like once I'm outside of Nigeria, I'm not just an Igbo person, I'm a Nigerian, so I'm representing the whole of the country in one form, one shape or form, you know. Mm-hmm. And for me, these identities can be seen through food, you know, through language, through even the outfits that we put on, even our style, you know, is all of this is all encompassing. It's a way that I try to, you know, express my own identity as a Nigerian. And in terms of even interacting with other people, I try to do this by, you know, talking to them about Nigeria and what to expect. I always take every opportunity I get, to be honest, to tell somebody who knows absolutely maybe not necessarily don't know absolutely anything about Nigeria, but that is not Nigerian or that is not African, because other Africans already know us. There's no need. So it's the other guys, you know, I take every opportunity I get to say something about Nigeria, talk about the food, the culture, how diverse we are, you know, how different we can be. And in fact, in most recent times, what I've even noticed over time, now that I'm in Germany, which was not a thing for me before, was even my hair. I try now to not even... Recently, when I was coming to Germany, I got a lot of wigs, so a lot of straight wigs, of course.
I love this part of the conversation.
But now, when I put on the straight wig, I feel like an imposter, to be honest. And this is just something I've started feeling recently, and this is just me. It does not cast shadow on anyone and how they like to, you know, make their hair or take care of their hair and stuff. That's nothing. It's just personally. I just found that in recent times, when I wear my wig that is a straight wig, I just don't feel comfortable. I just feel like, why am I doing this? You know? So I stopped wearing the wig and I start to try to make more Afro-like hair. So I try to do more kinky or carry my natural hair or braids or something that when I'm outside, there's a clear difference between myself and every other person. So these are also other ways I try to, you know, express my own form of identity. If there's an opportunity to dress up Nigerian, I grab it with two hands. I dress up very Nigerian when I'm in the bus, and people are like, "Oh, your outfit is really, let's say, yes, it's from the eastern part of Nigeria." When you see me start explaining, my husband is like, I ask you, I say yes, I will tell them.
Wow.
So they know. So for me, these are different ways I try to, although work and all might not allow for a lot of these extra expressions. So for example, I don't go to work putting on wrapper or something like that, but in every other thing, as much as I can, I try to do that. Even when I go to work, I cook my food, my local food, and I go to the office, I show my colleagues, you know, sometimes I tell them, you know, today I'm going to try to make one thing for you. Try it looks like this, or it tastes like this, or it tastes like something similar to what you already know. Just every opportunity to, you know, express Nigeria to other people. I might not be able to do that for every other African country, because of course I don't know as much in that regard. But once it comes to anything Nigerian, I do my best to you know, express that identity everywhere I go. Like I always say to my friends and to other people, that we are a walking country. We by ourselves like this. Anywhere we go to, we are the full representation of where we come from, who we are, you know, and all of that. So yeah,
that's amazing. Like I keep nodding because I can relate to so many things that you're saying now, and kudos to you, because what you've realized after 5 years in Germany, it took me almost 20 years to realize. So number one, you talked about hair. as you know, probably you haven't seen, but I started my lock journey 6 months ago, and I've not looked back. So if you don't know what to do with your hair, lock it. Lock it and forget about it. I'm locked in and I don't want out. And the reason why I locked my hair were two things. One, because of the practicability, and also because I needed a protective styling that was easy on me. And I'm more of a protective styling person. So anybody who knows Phoebe, if you watch my videos, even from 2021, I wear them bust down 32 inches. You can't tell me nothing. I can melt my face. Listen, I enjoyed wearing wigs, okay? But at some point, you'd come home and your cornrows are looking like they need help. You know how cornrows in the beginning, they look like straight lines of rows, and then later they feel like it's being
interwoven into each other.
Yes, like there's some weeding going on your head. And then imagine you're home, and if you are a shopping queen like myself, or I was, and then Deutsche Post will keep bringing your bill. Do you have 9 packets? That's why you'd be scurrying around looking for something to cover your head. And that for me wasn't practical, okay? And so at some point, I transitioned from natural to perm again. And then with the perm, for me, my hair was breaking. Like every time I combed my hair in the morning, the floor was full. So I talked to one of my friends who's a loctician. She was like, listen, just look it up and things will change. So I went for the micro locks. And since the day I did the micro locks, my wigs are in one big bag. I don't know where they are. I moved them. I've not even looked for the wigs because it's so free. Like Jeremy would say, like my forehead is breathing. My edges are growing back because oxygen is important for your hair to grow.
Okay? Into the hair.
And the second thing is the identity. So obviously, of course, I can straighten my hair. My hair will be straight, like Caucasian straight. Though it wouldn't be the same. I did silk press. I do some of my videos. You see me, I would go for myself and everything. But then I was like, I need to accept myself the way I am, with the hair that grows from my scalp, and accept it the way it is and enjoy the hair. And I used to think, oh, how am I going to go to courts with locks and everything? But honey, after 2 weeks that I locked it, and my hair was permed when I locked it, obviously. So I didn't have that much volume. Like even now, like 6 months ago, it wasn't like this. But I just went out with it because I was thinking, oh, I'll wear wigs still. I just went that way. So it comes to a point where you tell yourself, I have to be truthful to myself. Like integrity also for yourself is the best. Now the postman can ring my bell 20 times in a day and I wouldn't be bothered because that's how I woke up.
You can just walk there, your natural self.
Yes. And I feel that. And when it comes to, cooking and bringing food, so I would take eba and groundnut soup to work. I took jollof to work. And eba and groundnut soup, one of my favorite things. Eba and palm is one of my favorite things to eat. I'm a Gary girl. I'm a cassava girl. And the only thing I've not done is take kokonte, which is similar to amala, to work. But if you give me a chance, I will, because there's a microwave in the office. Why shouldn't I?
Of course.
I'll do it. Of course. And
you start explaining what the food is, and
No, and the thing is, Germans also have their own kind of swallow. Just like they eat with fork and knife. There's knödel, there's gnocchi, there's semi-knödel, like different types of swallow. Okay, just that you don't know, it does not mean they don't exist. They are there. So basically, for me, when I realized that German food is just like African food, like there's the carbohydrates, the swallow, there's the sauce, and then there's the meat or the fish. I was like, what? No need to worry myself.
No need to stress, honestly.
Exactly.
No need at all.
And then also with the clothes.
Sorry, so with the permed hair, I'm not against perm. In fact, my hair, I don't think I'll go natural with my normal hair because I cannot. I tried to do it one time, I almost died. So because this is my hair, I don't know the arrangement me and God has. The hair is like stone. If I lose my hair, if I do like this, it will not enter.
Then your hairstylist is trying.
it cannot work. So of course, because when a lot of people talk about natural hair or trying to, be much more Afro in our hairstyle, some people tend to make other people who don't want to do that feel bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing your hair however it is you're happy with. Just be okay with yourself. This is just a personal thing, and that's for wigs. Doesn't even mean that tomorrow I will not buy wigs. I might buy wigs again, but they'll most likely be wigs with curls like an Afro
And
kind of
structure.
hair structure, as opposed to the straight one, which will be forcing me to want to, then I go out and I'm looking at other people who have straight hair and they look nothing like me. The connection is not looking, it's just too much stress in my mind.
So you already answered the question towards how you celebrate your culture by wearing African clothes like in appropriate manner, because you don't wear a bikini to work, obviously. So you wear them according to what is appropriate. I also have African print skirts that I wear with like a shirt or something, and thumbs up on that. So I remember one of my friends then, she's from Nigeria, and I was like, oh, I wear African wear too. But she was like, that is not professional. And I was like, okay, Ghana that I come from, on Fridays, it's African wear day. And I incorporated that going to the office. I'll wear my African print skirt. Sometimes I have one top which sleeve is as big as a balloon. And I'm sitting there like this typing.
Oh my God.
Listen, I think on days that I'm sick, these people miss me. They miss me. Because I'll come in with the energy. But on days that I go to court as an interpreter, obviously you're supposed to be very mild, not mild, but unauffed. You're supposed to pop up, like people don't have to see you like that. So yes, you don't have to stick out. So usually I wear darker colors and everything. But if I'm going to sit in that office, I make sure that I am seen, smelled, and heard. Yes. You smell my
Definitely.
perfume.
You need to know that you have arrived. You cannot just come ordinary. No.
And then I'm the office princess. You have to know I've arrived. You have to know. So you answered the question towards how you celebrate your culture. But how has Germany opened your eyes to your cultural identity?
Big part is the language. That's a very big part. Because something that I've learned, which Kelechi talked about in her last video, was how the Germans are very protective of their language, and I really appreciate that. It's beautiful to see, it's amazing to see. But beyond the Germans, even being here has exposed myself to other people from other parts of the world who really don't care about the English language. They speak their English with as broken as it is, with their accent as strong as it is, and they're proud of it. On the other hand, we before now are not proud of our language. We want to not speak the language so we don't ruin our accent. The accent we still have, you cannot run away from it. You see everyone in this world
there's nothing funnier than an Igbo guy claiming Yankee boy. Simply.
And
I was gonna call you. Hey, calm down.
In this Germany that they're speaking German, somebody would suddenly be having American accent. It's always ridiculous.
That's one thing I appreciate about you and Kelechi as well. You just speak as you learned it.
Exactly.
You don't have to second guess your pronunciations or anything. It is what it is.
Yeah. Although I do understand why some people try to code switch in some places where they are, but I also know that a huge part of the reason is the complex of wanting to sound a specific kind of way. If you don't sound that way, you don't sound that way. It makes your life very difficult. I unfortunately fell among the group of people who didn't learn their local language. So my Igbo is really bad, and I still feel very pained by that. I feel that it's embarrassing how bad my Igbo is.
Lie down for 6 lashes.
Honestly, I deserve to be collecting it every time. But surprisingly, I've spoken more Igbo in Germany than I've spoken anywhere else. So because of this new consciousness, I'm consciously, trying to talk more in Igbo. So when I'm discussing with my husband, a lot of times when we're outside, we try to talk in Igbo, because it's not like I don't know the words, because they are there. I know the words, I understand perfectly. It's just the actual use of it, the constant, use of it, and that's something that I really appreciate in Germany, and it's something that that Germany has opened my eyes to. That your language is your heritage, is a huge part of your heritage, and losing it is a shame. And this is something that we are struggling with in Nigeria as a people, or maybe I wouldn't even say African as a whole, because I meet a lot of Africans and they speak their languages really well. I think this thing is mostly or largely prevalent in Nigeria. We suffer from this a lot, from the complex of wanting to get rid of our, of who we are in terms of languages. Meanwhile, you come here, you meet people who speak 5-6 languages, without and it doesn't take anything away from you. In fact, it even makes you look smarter, that you can switch from one.
So I look smart with 5-6
you are smart. I told you, when you told me that you speak how many languages? I think you speak about 5 languages. I'm like, girl it's amazing,
and it is a money making avenue, like for a place like
even now
holds tied to their language. There's always going to be a barrier if you don't speak German. So if you are some people say multilingual, and you come to Germany, make sure that you learn German. It's going to help you a lot for money. Yeah, and
very,
I have
very
to
important.
do this. In German, we call it Schleichwerbung. Because Kelechi is watching, and baby girl should have joined this conversation. So please, guys, I'm telling you, and I'm promising you, no, I'm not an African politician, but I'm promising you as a German politician that I'm going to have a trial conversation next week. So girls, don't fail me. We are going to have a conversation with Kelechi and next week, so that Kelechi can say what is on her mind, because I see my girl has a lot on her mind from the comments you
I know.
She has a lot on her mind, on her chest actually, to get off. But yeah, that you are very right with the language, like German language, and for me was the food as well. The language and the food that made me know that I'm different. My taste buds or my taste palette is different than what's available here, and
it's very okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I think that's one thing, that accepting the cultural identity is sometimes you even have to zoom out all these cultures and concentrate on yourself and say, what works for me? What works for me? So is it speaking Igbo that I feel most comfortable in? That is just what I'm going to do. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not hurting anyone, okay? If it's speaking German that works for me, I will do that according to where I find myself, on what makes me feel at ease in that situation. Yes, and code switching, you can't code switch if you don't have the full prowess of the other code. So you cannot switch from phonetics.
You will even sound odd, You sound off. It's exactly. I don't know why people stress themselves that much.
Code switching is an art that has to be
learned. But it is what it is.
We have to see it as it is, and then we take it and pick the lessons from it and move on. Yeah.
I have some friends who when I talk to them on the phone, they're like, okay, you still sound the way you sound. Like, I've always known you. This abroad that you went to is not even improving your... I said, my dear, I'm struggling to make money first. Before I'll be trying to go and change something that is already God-given the way it is, I'll go and stress myself. I don't have that energy.
And it would come in slowly. It's because, obviously, if you hang out with a lot of Americans, it will kind of rub off on you.
Yeah, over time.
Over time, exactly.
Over time.
So, it is what it is. And
because even now, you pick up some German slang, some small things here and there, and
Tell us. Which are your
Unconsciously.
German slangs that you picked up?
At least I can still say genau. I can say ja. I say
You can say your.
na.
That is how Germans say yeah. We don't always say yeah. We say your. This your means
Ja.
I'm thinking about it. I have not finished thinking about.
And you say something,
your.
say something, and you say nah.
Nah.
something.
Meaning,
Nah.
what do you say? What do you say? You see, somebody will say that they are not learning German, but they are picking up the social cues from the language. Everybody clap for Gena.
No, I'm learning the language. I'm learning German, no.
And please do that. We'll come for
I'm
an update
learning.
next year and ask you, okay, now, last year November, this is where you were. This year November, where are you? We are going to mount
No, my
pressure.
next year target. I promise you, when you see me in the end, at the end of next year, I'm gonna shop.
Hey, wow.
I'm not gonna let this language thing be stressful, because at the end of the day, if you're going to live in a country and you're going to thrive there, then of course you have to learn the language. I have just been very, very fortunate. Like now, when my friends want to come here, I tell them from the beginning, I say start to learn this language. I'm just really, really, really lucky, that somehow I've been able to navigate up onto this. I know a lot of people are lucky in that sense as well, but then it makes no sense, because even right now I know that there's a ceiling I cannot break. I already know that there's certain things that I'm already projecting in my mind, that these are the things I want to do, these are the places I want to be able to get to, but I already know I can't do that without the language.
Without the C1.
Irresponsible of me to not, begin to work on that, even though I know that I'm not very good with languages generally, but we're gonna have to do this. And we have started. At least sometimes I just see some things that just come outside. If I finish saying it, I'll say, I spoke
What
German.
that means? And that's the thing. Learning the language as an adult is hard. Because I think sometimes I also speak from a place of privilege, because yes, I was 12. But even 12 was hard because my brother, who was 4 years younger, he was 8 then. His German is way better than mine.
Better.
Way better than mine. Sometimes he speaks and I pick stuff, like I just pick stuff from his speech and add it to mine. Like for me, he is a real native speaker compared to me. So I get that. So even me with 12, I have my own hiccups, and then you much older, learning the language, it's hard. But don't be shy, make the mistake. The good thing is that Germans are not like us, that when you make a mistake, we'll tease you with it. They'll just casually correct you and keep it moving. They're not going to say, and you say, no. They just, just correct it and keep it moving. And that's one thing that would help you. That's one thing that help you. So now you've been here for 5 years. Have you made connections with other Black women in Germany or African women in Germany?
Yes, I have.
Great.
I consider it a very important aspect of surviving in Germany. Some people don't think it's important, but I think it is important because for so many reasons. First reason is I feel much more relaxed and in my skin when I'm with other Black women. Probably even more specifically when I'm with other Nigerians. I feel much more within my skin because I can crack jokes that I don't need to explain. I can, I can express myself in my natural state, without having to be thinking about how the other person is perceiving this, if this is an insult in the person's own culture, or if different things are always going through my mind when I'm having to deal with people from other parts of the world. But of course we have to deal with them. We have to learn a lot of these things, learn their own culture and how to interact with all of this. But for me, a huge part of surviving abroad, in my own opinion, is finding that community that keeps you grounded, that still gives you that touch with home, be it friends or a whole community. I find it to be super, super important. But beyond the feel of being in my own skin, I see that there are certain things, certain challenges that one would have as a person of color that a German, let me not say German because some Germans could be black, that a white German would not understand.
Yeah.
The person would, yes. So I always feel like if such kind of things happen, it's best I speak to someone who can relate to it, who can understand what I'm talking about. And then it's easier for the person to give me direction. But when I'm talking to someone who does not know the person is looking at me like, is this a real problem? Are you sure you have a problem?
Even simple example is going to get your hair done or going to the Afro shop. The German doesn't have their perspective or their focus on this. They might even pass by an Afro shop store every day, but because it's not something they are looking out for, they might not even know.
Exactly.
So I get that.
So it's even, there's something I just learned recently, well, not recently, but at least the experience that I have gotten as a foreigner here. It's now I begin to understand how foreigners even in Nigeria feel a lot of the times. Because in my office back home in Nigeria, we were working in our employment. We had other people from other parts of the world as well. We had people from Poland, from Germany. So I was working with a lot of all these people, even back home. And sometimes they talk about their issues with maybe one documentation or the other, and I'm always like, in this Nigeria, it's what are you talking about?
Yes.
I never really saw their problem like a problem. I'm always like, what is this person talking about? Is this not the same country that all of us are living in? What are you saying? But now being that foreigner, I'm beginning to appreciate how the struggle was for them. So it's the same thing with here. I could imagine talking to another person and the person is looking at me like, what is this? You are supposed to know this. But if you're talking to someone who has gone through that journey as well, either before you or with you, it's easier to to have that. So while we are integrating and building connections with the indigenous, with those who are born here, whether white, black, mixed, whatever, I feel it's also very much more important, not much more, but very important as well to keep that other family understand that creates this sort of balance for us.
Exactly. Balance is key. As you were saying this, I just thought balance is key because for me, initially, I had also, because of the same thing, for me in school, I wasn't understanding the jokes and everything. So when I come to my mom's store and they are doing things that I'm familiar with, I feel more at home there. And for me, I was doing both. So I'll go to school, I'll come back from school, I'll do my homework. And on days that I can manage, I will take the train and go to my home store, And it was later on that I realized that those times I was spending in the store were building my cultural background for even the work I do today. But I had the privilege of going to a German school, so I wasn't totally in the African bubble like that. But after school, and I started building also my German network or my German speaking network, I realized that, but up to date, some of my longest friendships are with Ghanaians. And it's you just need both sides. But my issue always is, don't only go where you feel comfortable. You have to break out of your comfort zone. And
because certain growth will not happen.
Learn the language. Yeah.
There's some information that your fellow immigrant or black person or might not be privy to. So it's important that you are not just staying in one place and just staying with only my people. You mix up with the other people because those people have certain information as well that you will be needing. I was in my previous office in Wuppertal. There's a colleague of mine, very lovely lady, and there's certain things that she just tells me, you could do this. I'm like, really? In my wildest dream, I wouldn't have thought that this is something that is possible, or that is available to me, even as a foreigner. She's like, no, you can do it. It's possible. You can do this. You can go here. And I really do appreciate her for being open with because in Germany, if you don't ask, you don't get any information. If nobody, and sometimes you even ask, you need to ask specifically in a specific way, because if you don't ask for that specific thing, they might just give you general information and then you're just you're still lost. So I appreciate the fact that sometimes she just thinks of something and she'll say, you know what, okay, I think you should know this. And then she'll say, oh, I saw this and I think
She must
it is
have really
good."
liked you for her to even take the initiative and be telling you this and that. Because sometimes what I've seen here is that for a German to always come up and say this, they feel like you depend on it or you deserve to know. But they can also be gatekeepers if they are not that close to you.
True.
And as you're saying, you need the community because you need to know who know road. Like I always say, follow who know road. Because in as much as other immigrants will tell you stuff, you really have to weigh what the other immigrants are telling you. And if you want to follow advice by a fellow immigrant, please check if that immigrant giving the advice already speaks German or has even opened the Aufenthaltsgesetz before. That's the Foreigners Act. Has he opened that book before with the laws in it to know at least the kind of stay he has, what he can do, what he cannot do? Okay. Before you you take advice from someone, vet the person. Vet the advisor first.
Be sure of the information, because sometimes some people give you advice from their own bias or their own ill-informed experience. Exactly. Sometimes they were even wrong in the way they went about the thing, and then they bring that wrong information and then they share it to you like it's the gospel. So at the end of the day, I said balance is the word.
I love how you answer the questions, because I throw one question to you and you answer 2 or 3 questions of mine already with that. So if you were my student, I'll be like, correct.
A+.
Correct. Extra mark. She's collecting extra mark. Yes. So on TikTok we have Auntie Jojo Kenya says she loves the conversation. Thank you, Auntie Jojo. Kelechi says very valid points. Wrong info is as good as no info at all. That's true.
Yeah, very important.
Yes. So our last question. I can't believe it. This 1 hour went by so quickly. What advice would you give to Black women?
Sorry. Repeat your question.
Oh, no worries. What advice would you give to other Black women in Germany considering to move to Germany, or those who have just arrived in Germany or are living in Germany too?
First of all, is if you're not working on learning the language, of course, please start to learn already. Super important. You will not be able to do a lot of things without that. Secondly, is to know that there's a lot of possibilities for you. There are a lot of possibilities. You're not limited to your skin color. You're not limited to the few people in your circle. In fact, the world is up for the taking if you are willing to do the work and follow the people that know road, like I said,
Yes.
Because sometimes I see that a lot of people already cut their feet, they cut themselves on the leg already, because they're already thinking, I can't do this, I'm not allowed to do this, or I won't be able to do this. So if I go there, they might look at me a certain way. I always say that what you constantly continue to think about is what you constantly continue to attract. If you always think that, when I go here, people are going to treat me badly because I'm a person of color, you will see people treating you badly, even if they are not treating you badly. If this is just the way everyone is being treated, you would say, that's because things like that. So don't don't limit yourself by yourself with your own fears. Everything is up for the taking as long as you're willing to do what it is that is necessary for that place. I would say to be sensitive to where you are, to the environment that you find yourself. Like they say, if you're in Rome, behave like the Romans. Anywhere it is that you are, if you observe, be observant. Don't just be walking in that just small bubble. I don't want to say small bubble, it sounds like an insult. Don't just be walking on your own and just facing the street. Be observant what's going on around you. Are there events that you can attend that can improve your chances with growth or whatever? Be observant. Sometimes some things are even popping up on the road, on the streets, adverts, random things. Don't just pass things just like that, Be observant of what you see. And as you talk to people, be respectful. Some of us are just rude. I don't know why. For whatever reason. We just
Ooh.
I feel like I don't
Ooh.
know why we do it. Some people just have we are quick to just cut people off, be rude, be unwelcoming, I don't know why this is a thing and people always complain about it. So if there's a way we can do away with that, so that this narrative of a mad black woman can be done away with. Except there's of course a reason why you are.
I was about sometimes it's a weapon to whip out when things have to be addressed and needs that seriousness. But you need, I always say, when you pray for discernment. You need to know when to use which tool. Sometimes you need to use a very sweet face with a very cold smile to get what you want to get in this, maybe not just in Germany, but in the world at large.
World.
So you're right on that. Know where you are, be sensitive, be open-minded. And one thing that I would add to this is, Black women in Germany, love yourself. The way you are enough. And once you accept that you are enough, that is the point where you start breaking barriers, because you know that there's nothing that I would need that I don't have inside me. So you'll be your own motivator. You'll be like, okay, if I don't have it, I have to research for it. I'll go out there and look for it. When you love yourself, I'm not saying be overly like have this superior air around you. No. But if you accept that and you acknowledge that who you are is who you need to be to achieve your maximum potential, then you know that learning the language is not beyond me. If you are an architect, you'll be like, I want to. You guys have a different term. I think you have like a master of architect or something. There's something that is above regular architect. Regular architect is not easy. They draw at dawn. They don't like when there's too much noise. You need high concentration.
Honestly,
but you can always go higher and higher and higher, and you can do it. So one thing I've started telling some of my clients is that look for someone who looks like you. Okay, so for example, if you want to be a nurse in Germany, there are at least 2-3 African nurses in Germany that you can see on TikTok making it and explaining things to you. Tell yourself that I want to be my version of this person. If she could do it, I can do. Because honestly, the reason why we talk about our journey in Germany is because we see that there are others who couldn't make it, but there are those who can make it. So we are going to bring those who made it in different aspects to come and share their journey and to encourage you. So this is Ogena. She came to Germany on for a master's degree, and she's working in her field. And she didn't stop there just because she got a job. No, she is learning the language, and as she said, she's going higher than that. At the same time, embracing her culture and saying that I, Ogena, as a Nigerian woman, as an Igbo Nigerian woman, being different is what makes me stand out. Being different is a plus. And I will wear my African clothes to work when appropriate, how appropriate. I don't have to distract other people with what I'm wearing. No, I'll take my food to work and everything, because the way I am, how I was brought up is enough, and I'm taking the positive aspects of it out. This is basically it, and this is what the Diary of a Black Woman in Germany is about.
Two more things that I wanted to add.
Yes, please.
The first thing is to avoid illegal things. Avoid shortcuts, because sometimes some shortcuts that some people recommend, they might not sound or look illegal in the first place. They might look like we're just being smart. Avoid it like a plague, because that's the quickest way to just ruin your life anywhere, of course, not just in Germany, in any part of the world. So please avoid it. If there's a right, as long as you know that this is the way it should be done, do it that way. It might be difficult, but I was speaking to someone today, which is a coincidence actually. I was speaking to someone today, and she was asking for my thought on something, and other people had given her some ideas on how to avoid some of these things. And what I asked her was, would you rather, dodge all of this and then at the end fall into one big problem that you now start running up and now who's going to help me? Or would you rather just go through the stress of it, struggle the struggle once and for all and get it over and done with, and you can beat your chest anywhere that you did this, you did it the right way. If you see police tomorrow, you're not going to say, oh God, probably it's me. Maybe it's me they're looking for, because there's nothing, you have nothing that you're doing wrong. And then the other part is sometimes, which is something I see that a lot of us go through a lot, even myself, I've gone through it a couple of times. Some people that might look like all that, when you interact with them, you find that they're not really they're not really more than what you what you can deal with, So while it is good to give honor to whom honor is due, we should not be bamboozled by big names and big titles and big status. When you talk to some of these people, they are just like every one of us. They are like normal people. So if you need to reach out to somebody, don't be thinking, oh, will the person answer me, reach out. Talk to people. I tell my friends that as long as this person is speaking English, I can talk to this person.
Yeah.
And I will not say, oh, maybe if the person doesn't answer me, it's okay, there's no problem. If there's something that I want to reach out for or reach to, or let me not just say me, if there's something you want to reach out for, do it. It might sound overwhelming. You might have the initial imposter syndrome to say, oh, can I do this? I cannot do it. This looks much more than what I am capable of doing. Try it anyway. You just never know. You reach there and then you find out that I'm even better than most of, maybe not better, but you're even much more qualified. Yeah, than most of the people doing this, and they're just sitting down there with their big titles, and you are here looking down on your abilities. So in everything that you are doing, just know that even the president, you might talk to him tomorrow now, and you'll be wondering, is this is the person that I've been really, So at the end of the day, at the core, we are all humans, and first relate with people as humans, not as one big demigod that we have put, on a very high pedestal. Those are the two things I wanted to add.
Thank you, Gena. Thank you so much for the advice, and I've seen that people are enjoying the advice that you're giving today. Thank you all for joining. We don't finish. But next week, our next episode 4, we are going to talk about black tax.
Important topic that is so pain somebody.
Danke, Kelechi. Wir vermissen dich. Hoffentlich bist du nächste Woche dabei. Und wir müssen Ogena motivieren, mit ihrem Deutschkurs ganz schnell voranzukommen. Ganz, ganz schnell. Zu B1, B2, C1, C2.
Bis D1.
Bis D. Es gibt kein D, Schatz. Es gibt kein D.
The new level.
Okay, you're actually going to be Muttersprachlerin. That's like a native speaker. That's my dream for you. And you'll make it. Yeah. Because architects are too smart. One of my very good friends, one of my godchildren, the mom is an architect. So I know that architects are not, they are very smart people. So you can do it. You can do it. So yes, next week for episode 4, we'll be talking about black tax. If you're in Germany and you are about to send your snow pictures, they will bill you. Don't send the snow pictures, okay? They will bill you. A word to the wise is words enough.
It's enough. Open your ear.
Whenever I'm ending the conversation, it feels like, oh, I don't want to end it. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much, Ogena, for taking out the time and
Thank you.
bearing with me and my crazy schedule and my confusion. I really worried this woman this week. But thank you so much.
No, I always tell you that I love talking to you. You're always a vibe to speak with. So
see how my cheeks are just getting big, we just burst like oh.
I'm sure everyone who has had a conversation with you tells you the same thing. So I know for a fact that's the case.
Yeah, so I do hear it sometimes.